today to get some more range of motion back. Just to show real quickly kind of what range of motion she has currently, go ahead and lift your arm up like this just to show. So that's as high as she can get her arm up in flexion. And then this is as high as she can get this way. And then the other way they test you is by bringing it out like this.
Yeah.
And that's as far as she can get with this. So the first thing I've noticed with her, so this is what I would do. I would just do a real quick postural analysis to see what I see. First of all, this right shoulder is rolled over way more forward than the left shoulder. And having the right shoulder rolled forward like that can be for several reasons. Basically it has to do with any of the internal rotators, but you can also see how the hand is rotated forward also, which tells me that obviously you got the anterior deltoid, the pec major, pec minor. Obviously, like the lats can be pulling it forward, coracoid. The bicep can also be bringing it forward. Obviously, subscapularis, teres major. All the internal rotators are obviously tight, which is causing her hand to be rolled forward this way. And the fact that her shoulder is rolled forward like this also tells me that internal rotators are also really, really tight. The major thing that I'm looking at today, though, is back in the scapula. And you can see that this side, I don't know if you're close enough to see that, but this side is really, really winged, which tells me that her serratus anterior is super tight. Another thing I'll look at is to look at where the spine is, and you can kind of, both sides are winged quite a bit, this one's just winged more, but you kind of measure from here, and you can see that the distance from the spine to this one compared to the spine on this one is a lot more on this side, which tells me, once again, that the serratus anterior is too tight. And then if you can see, this one's nice and straight down, and this one is laterally rotated, which tells me that her upper trap is tight, the lower trap is tight, but also the serratus anterior is once again tight, which seems to be the main culprit. And when it comes to bringing up her arm, your arm will only come up to 90 degrees, as you know, because it runs into this ligament bridge that goes from your coracoid to your acromion. And so you have to get this movement of the scapula in order to rotate, in order to allow the arm to go up higher above the head. So today what we're going to be doing is just loosening up all these muscles, but also the serratus, in order to help facilitate this movement and to give her some more range of motion. So basically what she's going to get is about 20 degrees in this area from here to here. You get the other 40 from here, and then you get the other 120 from this angle all the way up to where the hand goes up straight away, so you can see that she's lacking that range of motion. So the first thing I'm going to do, because the major thing that I'm seeing is the serratus anterior, so what I'm going to do is have her lay on this side, and I'm going to work all through the armpit area. So I'm going to kind of support her arm while coming up through here, and this is extremely, extremely painful. So basically, in order to save time, I'm going to work down this entire serratus anterior muscle. I pretty much worked everything out with her in this static position, and then what you can do is just start creating a little bit of movement. So you can kind of bring her arm up while working on these areas. And you can see that it's going to be really, really painful for her. But you can basically drive yourself through the entire range of motion, so you can kind of bring the arm down while working on the spot. Bring it all the way up. Obviously the higher I go, the more painful it is. And I'm also trying to kind of get the arm back a little bit while I'm bringing the arm up. So not just bringing it up, but kind of going through every kind of range of motion while I'm working these spots. Okay, so you can see this one's straight like I did before. And you can see this one's a lot straighter now because we worked out the serratus anterior. She still has quite a bit of winging, but she's got winging on both sides. But the distance from here to here has already gotten a lot better. We still need to work the upper trap and the lower trap. And another thing I want to look at is just her shoulder blade height. And this one you can see is slightly higher on the right side than on the left side. So before, when we were saying it was rotated like that, it was serratus anterior, upper trap, lower trap. Now, if it's higher, which it is, it's upper trap, but it also includes the levator muscle. It can include some rhomboid, and it can also include the pec minor. So in order to kind of drop this thing down, we're going to do some upper trap stuff. Like I said, levator, rhomboid, and lower trap. And we're going to do all this with my elbow to break it up, and also range of motion, just like we did with the serratus anterior. So we're going to start doing that now. Let's see if she can even bring her arm back. Does that hurt, Brie, to do that?
No, it's tight.
So obviously it's super tight, but one of the reasons, this is called the half Nelson test. So this elbow should be flat against the ground. Obviously she can't do that. One of the main reasons that it's not flat is same reasons as before. We mentioned the rhomboid and the upper trap. So the first thing I'm going to do is before I even do the range of motion stuff, is hold her arm like this and work through here as long as she's comfortable. Are you comfortable with this, Brie?
Yeah.
Like your arm doesn't hurt at all? Like doesn't hurt your shoulder at all?
Do you want me to relax it?
Yeah, if you can. So I'll work through here, and you'll literally be able to see the elbow, start to drop down as we work the rhomboids, and the rhomboids are going to come through in this area. So I'm going to start about right here. And putting our arm up like this, as long as it's not too painful for the patient. Sometimes I'll even put like my knee like this, maybe to support it a little bit if the person's having a lot of pain. But if she's not, then I just let gravity basically help to apply pressure to the rhomboids while I'm working it out. And like I said, you can slowly kind of see the elbow dropping towards the table. So I'm going to work my way up. There's another spot like right here. Okay, so we just worked through the rhomboids. We're doing some obviously upper trap stuff right now, but you can see how much further down the elbow is dropped. It's to the point now where it's pretty close to the table. I mean, it's still a couple inches off, but I mean, obviously a lot closer than it was before. And I think if we work through here, we could probably get it to drop down just a tiny bit more. And I've been trying to support her arm, but obviously her arm's getting kind of tired and it's starting to feel a lot of strain in that capsule. So I'm going to bring her arm off of her back. And then, like I said, now we're going to start doing some range of motion stuff and kind of going through the same muscles, but different range of motion spine. So obviously, like I said before, we're getting the lower trap, the rhomboids, levator, and upper trap. So I'm going to bring her arm kind of like this just so it's supported, so she doesn't feel like she has to strain to keep up her arm. And we're just going to kind of work through the upper trap. And she still can't quite bring her arm back all the way. So I got to be careful and not have her in an uncomfortable position. But I can bring her arm up now and down while working on these spots. Just helping to increase the range of motion. So you can see that now that we did the upper trap, and just the back muscles, we haven't even really done anything in the front, but you can already see that the shoulder has dropped back dramatically. It's not, before it was kind of rolled forward a lot like that. Like I said, I had to do a lot with the serratus anterior, and now it's nice and back the way it's supposed to be. And then if you look at shoulder heights now, or the shoulder blade heights, you can see that they're about the same height now. You can see that this is not nearly as winged, and you can see that it's just as close to the spine on both sides. So you can see, like, visually it looks like everything is lined up posturally the way you want it to be. I mean, obviously she's not going to have her full range of motion back yet, but she was never going to get that full range of motion unless she got posturally back to where she needed to be. So go ahead and let's see kind of what you can do so far. Is that painful at all?
It's tight right there.
Okay. And then kind of come up this way now to show this one. It's quite a bit better. I mean, before she was at about 90, so now she can get her arm up a little higher. And if I rotate it like that, then obviously she can bring it up, but she can't just bring it up all the way by itself. But I haven't done like any stretching with her either. I mean, it's all been just muscle work. So I haven't been, pushing her arm. I haven't been doing range of motion type stuff, which obviously I would do, to try to further kind of break things up and to get a little bit more range of motion in there. Last